Hey everybody, Some Gadget Guy here, somegadgetguy.com, and we're going to play with an iPhone accessory. The iPhone is a gorgeous little piece of technology. It's so slim, it's so trim. It's one of the most attractive phones on the market today, and you also want to definitely keep it safe, keep it from getting scratched up, keep it from getting banged up. And for those of you who have slightly more demanding jobs, you also want to keep it from getting smashed, crushed, or soaked. And so now I got this guy from the AT&T store here in Southern California. This is the Ballistic case for the iPhone 5, and we're going to see how well it plays with the iPhone 5S. You know, the casing on the iPhone 5S is almost identical, the major change being by the camera module, especially the dual LED flash, and the Ballistic case should fit nicely, and it's the only case that I found that's durable, that's hardcore, that also comes with this handy-dandy little belt clip. And this is a multi-piece solution with these rubber grommets which bridge the sides of the device, Ballistic branding right there, and then have cutouts and ports for all of the buttons on the iPhone. It's a sturdy feel, and the nice thing about the Ballistic case is it doesn't add too much bulk to the rest of the phone, considering that its job is to protect the phone. So let's see if we can take this apart here. I'm gonna pop the seals here. There are these little like grommets, and they're almost like little plastic bolts that go in on these rubber flanges. I'm absolutely not using those words correctly. Gonna pop this here. And then there's a clear plastic guard for the screen. We're just gonna pop this out, and you can see there's this little these teeth connect into the main body of the case, but then there's also like a rubber band which goes the around the plastic case, and this is also to help ensure that water does not get into the main phone compartment, keeping this nice and dry. And then that little speaker hole right there is foamed, again, so that sound can get out. And that's actually the Ballistic case's big claim, is that audio can still get out of your case easily, but that the case will prevent your iPhone from getting water damaged even when it's completely submerged. And we got a nice little warning there, place bottom of phone in first. I will obey your commands, Ballistic case. I'm just gonna kind of mash that in. Got a good feel to it, and you can feel where the mute switch, the mute rocker, clicks into place. I'm gonna put the clear guard in. Make sure I've got that the right way around. Do I have that the right way around? I don't have that the right way around. Hold on one second. There we go. Dangers of shooting this all live while I'm trying to explain and run the camera at the same time. And you can feel each one of those little points sort of pushes in individually. So you want to make sure you get a nice, good seal all the way around, because there's no point in using this case if you've left a little pocket open for water to seep in. Now I'm going to get that the lightning connector guard put in place there. I'm just kind of mash that in there. And now I can go about connecting all of these little holes and bolts again. Make sure that the case is nice and snug. Just pop that in there. And also just the mass of the iPhone helps push against the edges of the case to ensure a better fit, a better seal. So the case actually does do a really nice job of connecting, putting itself all back together, and it's not overly difficult to get the phone in and out of the case. And that plastic guard doesn't seem to impact screen sensitivity. I'm still able to use the phone, slide home screens back and forth just like I normally would. Obviously, you're going to lose access to Touch ID. That's another aspect of using an iPhone 5 case with the iPhone 5S, but if you're not using Touch ID, if you're just using a regular PIN code, that shouldn't be a major problem. It's just kind of a bummer that it gets in the way of one of the iPhone 5S's coolest new features. And so one of the case's claim to fame is that even though it's a watertight case and that you're able to completely submerge the phone while it's in the Ballistic case, the case is designed well enough that audio should be able to get out of the speakers through the little vents that they've ported without letting water in. So let's take a listen here, see if we can get that to play. And obviously this isn't some fancy test, this is just with the microphone that's built into my camera. But that is still pretty impressive performance considering this is a waterproof and ruggedized case. It's definitely blocking some of the sound that the iPhone is capable of producing, but this is still perfectly adequate, you would be able to hear this out in the wild just fine. That's actually really remarkable performance. I'm very impressed. So going around other sides of the case, the switch for the mute is stiff, but it's got a good feel to it. You can feel when it clicks into place and clicks out, and so that's very helpful. And just looking down here, what these ports look like. If I pop open this port, you can see that obviously when you pull open the headphone jack and the lightning connector, that's not going to be waterproof if those are exposed, but that they pop into place very easily, and they've got a really sure feel to them. You'll know exactly if they're in place enough to make sure that your phone is water protected. And then you just slide it into your little belt case there. It's all nice and easy. It's a very clean presentation. This is a very business or job site friendly case with belt clip accessory. Definitely going to be one of those solutions that you'll want to use if you work, say, like out on a job site, if you work in construction, if you work on sets like I do in Hollywood. That this is going to be a handy way to make sure that your phone stays put, and it goes into place just as easily screen in as it does screen out, so that you can wear it on your belt just any way you want. It's a little hard to see on my camera here, but as I move this back and forth, you can see that there's a very thin membrane that protects the speaker port. It allows sound out very well, as you just heard, but it definitely is in place to prevent water from entering into the main phone cavity. And speaking of water entering into the main phone cavity, this is not my iPhone 5S to play with, so I'm going to not do a water test. Like, if this were my phone, I would have no problems dunking it in water and potentially breaking it. But seeing as how this is on loan from one of my friends who works in PR, and it's her personal phone, instead, I'm going to cheat this test with a paper towel in the phone cavity. We're going to dunk this in here and make sure. So, as you remember, that speaker vent allows sound out, but it has a very thin membrane to prevent water from coming in. So if we were to see any leaking, that I think would be the major failure point right there. And I can push this underwater, condense it around. This is the ballistic case dancing in water. It's having a good time, And it's twirling and it's spinning. Now it's a ballerina ballistic case. I'm having way too much fun playing with water in my Some Gadget Guy lab. Yeah, I'm not seeing any leaking in through that speaker port. So let's take the paper towel out and see if any moisture got on it. There's no water there. So let's pull the paper towel out and let's see what this looks like here. Yeah, and there's the paper towel. It's perfectly dry. The ballistic case did exactly what we wanted it to do. It was submerged under the speaker grill for almost a minute, and no water leaked in. So that's excellent performance. And so the only other thing that we have to be concerned with using an iPhone 5 case with the 5S is the new camera module. The cutout port for the LED is smaller than the dual LEDs, but they almost line up with the very edges of the case. So if I take a picture here, let me see if I can try and shoot a picture at the camera. Oh, actually, no, the flash looks like it works just fine. The ballistic case camera port is just big enough to contain the newer, larger lens and sensor combo, and the LED, see, there's a picture of me operating the camera. It's probably the most flattering picture I've ever taken of myself ever. But no, that's excellent considering the LEDs seem to just barely fit in that tiny little outcropping for the camera flash. And so, folks, there you have it. This is the Ballistic Hydra case. I might have forgotten to mention that at the beginning of this review. Ballistic Hydra case, I picked up mine at an AT&T store while I was doing the iPhone 5S launch day activities, finally getting around to reviewing it. You can find them online for like $50, which is pretty remarkable pricing for a case that's going to help protect your beautiful, precious iPhone 5 or iPhone 5S. I wouldn't worry about using the iPhone 5 case with the iPhone 5S. They seem to play nice together just fine. As always, folks, thanks for watching. I will catch you all on the next review.